Luton Town have appointed Matt Bloomfield as their new manager on a 3.5 year deal. My immediate reaction was, it's an interesting one because you know what? It is a proper Luton appointment. And now if we think back to the appointments that Luton Town have made when it comes to managers, we tend to go for the, I don't want to say inexperienced, but we go for the certain demographic. We're looking for people in the 40 to 50 year range, possibly late 30s, but we're looking for someone we can get some mileage out of. And you look at Nathan Jones, you look at Rob Edwards, it's that sort of mold. And in the brief time, and I will say it, the brief time that Matt Bloomfield has had at Wickham, he has impressed. And in all fairness, Matt Bloomfield is more experienced than, say, a Rob Edwards or a Nathan Jones. Like, remember, Nathan Jones had pretty much no managerial experience outside of 2 interim games that he was in charge of Brighton. And yes, it was on record that I would have preferred a Steve Cooper. But the thing is here, could Steve Cooper keep Luton Town up? Could a Steven Schumacher keep Luton up? Could one of those sort of proven championship manager big hitters like a David Wagner, although he's not really a big hitter, is he? He's only had one good managerial stint, and that was at Huddersfield. And they famously drew every game, winning on penalties in the playoff to get to the Premier League. Would one of these guys manage to keep us up? I guess we'll never know. The thing is now, Matt has the job, and I have every confidence that he could keep us up. I've been banging on about it for a long time, that things got kind of stale under Rob Edwards, and there was a culture of losing that kind of bled into the squads. And you know what? We're getting a new manager. We're going to get a new voice. And these players now need to hear a new voice. And that's a good thing to hear. And they're going to get different tactics. And there's obviously the coach's voice article from Matt Bloomfield. I swear, if I see that article one more time, I might explode. Because it's been all over my Twitter timeline, on Discord. Everyone just keeps spamming it. It's like, look at this philosophy. Having read it, I think it's very exciting. And if I were going to put a word on it, I would say he's kind of the anti-Edwards in a way. Because with Rob Edwards, he expected man-for-man marking all over the pitch. And Rob said at the beginning of the 24-25 season that he wanted to be playing passing, attractive, attacking football. Whereas what Matt has said is, I don't want possession for possession's sake. And at the same time, he's not an advocate of man-for-man marking. There was a great bit that actually spoke to me because it's something that I've spoken about many times throughout every single post-match reaction that I have given. The fact that our players get pulled all over the shop in the middle of the park. And I had enough of that. So as soon as I read that line saying, if the fullback goes out into the right midfield position or the central midfielder drops back, don't follow that person, stay in your space. And that spoke to me. That is enough to convince me that this guy knows how to set up a team. And while I'm talking about his experience, well, some might say lack of experience, the numbers from his time at Wickham, they speak volumes. And that Wickham was actually his second managerial position. He had a very brief time at Colchester as well. And in that time, yes, he might have only won 2 of his first 7. But when you come into a team, and especially that was his first solo managerial venture. He'd done a bit of coaching before, but that was his first managerial venture. And it takes time to hit the ground running. Do I think that he needs to hit the ground running here? Yeah, of course he does. I'm actually amazed at how quickly that the board have turned this appointment around, and I think it's a very good appointment because, as I said before, regardless of whoever we got, it was always going to be a very tough task to turn this season around and get us going that way. Right now, the only currency are wins, and the board are doing their bit in terms of bringing in signings. I think the likes of an Isaiah Jones, I think that's a tremendous bit of business. I've said that before. My reaction can be found in the comment section below. Go check that out. Having a look at the Wickham team, because I'm thinking about Isaiah Jones and what role he could fill in this Luton Town team. Well, under Matt Bloomfield, Wickham played a 4-2-3-1, and one of the players that occupies one of those wide forward positions is a certain Fred Onyedinma. Maybe we'll see him back. I don't think so, but you know what? He's absolutely killing it at Wickham, because you know why? He's not playing wing back. He's playing a right forward position, and he's doing really well. Yes, obviously Fred had his injury problems. That happens, you know, that's just the curse of Luton. Everyone seems to have injury problems. An old adage, especially in science, is that what doesn't speak doesn't lie. And you know what? Averaging 2 goals per game, Wickham are the top scorers in League One. And remember, this is in a league where Birmingham dropped 10 mil on a striker. Wrexham, God knows how much they're paying those players with that aviation gin money just flowing in, and Brian Reynolds making it rain with Mac from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia there as well. I guess he's an afterthought, isn't he? There are some heavy hitters in League One. League One is a horrible league to get out of, and that is part of the reason I don't want to go down. And Wickham have scored the most goals in that league. And it's not like Wickham have thrown a massive amount at this season. They're just going at it with pure tactics and pure vibes. I'll get onto the Wickham statement in a bit, but it's a funny one. While they can score a lot of goals, they do concede. They're averaging 1.1 goals conceded per game. So it's not a case of, yeah, we're going to score one and then we're going to sit on it. And I've watched a few of the highlights, and an interesting one, I find you find out more about a team from watching the losses than the wins. So I watched Huddersfield 1, Wickham 0, and Huddersfield scored a very good goal. I think it was Herbie Kane that scored the goal. And you know what Wickham did? They attacked them right back. They could have easily have drawn that game. And Huddersfield are obviously one of the teams that are going to be in and around the playoff picture and the promotion push in League One. And yeah, you can't win every single game. I think Wickham have lost either 4 or 5 this season, and that is good going. And they're only losing to the teams in and around them. It was very encouraging that Wickham were having a proper go. Another thing that stood out for me, and these two are kind of intertwined, is the fact that Wickham have had the most penalties this season in League One, as well as the most touches in the opposition penalty box this season by quite some way, with Wickham having 612 and Birmingham having the second highest with 579. So that is a significant difference. And it really enthuses me. It really does, because a big lack of what Luton Town have been missing this season is playing football in and around the opposition box. Like, we're happy to pass it around our back line and then a big diag upfield. But under Matt Bloomfield, providing he can get his thoughts across to our players quickly, is breaking forward fast on the ground with a great pass completion. And you know what? Since Rob Edwards left, interestingly, if you check out Matt Aquino on Twitter, he put out that our highest pass completion rate of the season was against Nottingham Forest. And that comes in turn from their QPR game, which was our first game where we changed to a back four, playing a sort of 4-2-3-1. And why do I say 4-2-3-1? That is because Matt Bloomfield plays that exact formation, played that exact formation at Wickham. And that is exactly what we have all been crying out for, because we could see that the three at the back wasn't working. For one, when you play a 3-4-3, it leaves a massive gap in the middle of the park. And when you play a 3-5-2, there's no creativity out wide. Luton Town have been far too easy to get at through the middle. But playing a 4-2-3-1 means we'll have a double pivot in the middle of the park. We'll have someone just in front of them who can sort of link play. Right now, I don't think Matt Bloomfield has the player that he needs in that role. I don't think Jordan Clark is it. I definitely don't think Lamine Fanny is that player either, regardless of Rob Edwards playing him as a 10 against QPR. And I think we do have the wide forwards that Matt Bloomfield will want. I think Alfie Doughty playing left wing will be sensational there, and I think Isaiah Jones in the other wide position, with both of these players not having defensive responsibilities, it could be a good one. It really could. Ultimately, the problem is, will the players respond to him? And I'm relatively optimistic that it could just be a simple case of the players now need to hear a different voice. As Gary said in the press conference, that 55-minute one, which I don't blame you if you didn't watch the whole thing. It was very long and eulogy-like. Rob had taken his eye off the ball for, in Gary's words, a few months, maybe up to a year. And right now, we have a manager who's come in, he's on the up, he's focused, he's keen to not destroy the legacy that he is building. So I feel he is very committed to this. And as I said before, regardless of who you bring in, it is a very, very tough ask. And it is a very bold appointment from 2020. I'm not going to lie about that. But am I excited about it? You bet. We needed fresh ideas. And Matt, he's a young coach. He brings those fresh ideas. So naturally, both Luton and Wycombe have released statements. I find, having been on the receiving end of a managerial poaching with Nathan Jones twice, it's actually quite nice to be on the other side of the fence right now. And Wycombe's statement is actually quite funny, I'll say. I won't read the whole thing, but it's pretty amusing. Wycombe Wanderers can today confirm that Matt Bloomfield leaves for Luton Town. The club is naturally disappointed with Matt's decision to leave in the middle of the season. However, we respect his decision to pursue this new chapter in his career. He leaves with the gratitude and best wishes of everyone at Wycombe Wanderers, and we thank him for his service to the club. It's quite nice that they thank him. I don't think they'll say he's welcome back any time, especially not for the likes of Richard Kone. I imagine he's one that Matt Bloomfield would be quite keen to bring in, although I don't understand where he could potentially fit in, but it's not my problem. It's a problem for the recruitment team. And Luton Town statement, it says a bit more. I'm just going to read half of it because I encourage you to check out Gary Sweet's interview and Matt Bloomfield's interview, which you can find on Luton Town's YouTube channels. The statement goes, Luton Town Football Club is delighted to announce that Matt Bloomfield has been appointed as the Hatters' new manager. The town board have complied with all compensation requests from Wycombe Wanderers to bring the 40-year-old to Kenilworth Road, along with his assistants Richard Thomas, first-team coach Lee Harrison, and senior analyst Ben Cern. Bloomfield has put pen to paper on a 3.5-year contract and will be in the dugout for Saturday's home championship clash against Preston North End. And it goes on to, I'm going to skip a paragraph and go on to this, which is incredible. And I did touch upon Wycombe's stats during this video. In the calendar year 2024 alone, Bloomfield's side gained 87 points in League One, scored 107 goals in all competitions, reached the EFL Trophy final, in which they were runners-up to Peterborough United at Wembley. That is a massive contrast. 107 goals scored. I think in 2024, Luton Town conceded 107 goals. So he's got his work cut out to get the players on side, get his message across to them. I think he's very highly regarded. Sky Sports can't stop talking about the fact that he had lunch with Gareth Southgate. There should be some connections within the game through St George's Park and all that. Well, I hope so anyway, but I trust the board and the recruitment to get the signings on the money, because we do need some fresh legs in, as I said already, and players need to go out. But I guess I'll assess transfers in a later video at some point. But all that's left right now is we need to back the manager. We need to get behind him. We need to be loud and proud at Kenilworth Road. We need to make the players hear us. We need to make the players want to play for us. We need to back everyone, because right now we have to be the 12th man to get out of this situation that we're in. It's not all on Matt Bloomfield, but hopefully the players can start showing us a bit more on the pitch, because as I've said previously, the onus is on the players. Matt Bloomfield can come in with all the fresh ideas he wants, but the players need to turn this around. But everyone get behind Matt Bloomfield, get behind the team. And I'm very, very positive about this managerial appointment. We're going to have a phone in, so you can get your thoughts about the new managerial appointment. Get it across to us. If you're watching this on the Tuesday, we're going to be doing this phone in Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Link in the description below. If it's not Tuesday, you can listen back to it. We also have an interview with Joe Jacobson, who actually played with Matt Bloomfield for almost a decade and played under him as manager as well in Matt Bloomfield's first year, to get insight into Matt Bloomfield as a manager, as a player, as a person. I recommend watching that. It's a fun interview, if I do say so myself. That's also in the description. As always, make sure you subscribe. Subscribe to our channel. Lots more Luton Town content, lots more championship content. But as always, come on you, Matty Bloomfield's Hatters. We got this. We're staying up. I hope that doesn't come back to bite me.